This is going to be all over the place. I know it. It's just how it's going to be because my heart is pounding right now. The Formula 1 season ended. It was climactic. The last lap was absolute insanity. Never been seen before, I believe. Something you couldn't have dreamed of happening at the beginning of the season. But wow, it ended with an absolute bang. I don't think my heart has been going like that since Lucas Moura scored that hat-trick goal against Ajax in the second leg of the semi-final. That was bang. This was just below that, but in sporting terms, I haven't had that feeling. It was rush, it was endorphins, it was energy, and at the end of it, even though I want the Brit to win under any circumstance, for the race and for the sport of Formula 1, Max Verstappen winning was the better thing. Okay, that's the intro. Hey, NarendraTheComic here. Right now, we're just going to be talking about the end to the Formula 1 season. Absolutely iconic season with plot changes, red herrings. It had everything and more. And I think this one will go down as one of the best Formula 1 seasons of all time. You had the old guy in Lewis Hamilton, the wise guy, the one with experience and knowledge with him. And then you had Max Verstappen, the brave one, the one with the pace, the energy, but also a bit rash. That's just how it is. The guy, he's a bit too brave sometimes. He's a bit too dangerous, but I think that's what the sport needs. Just a little bit of. Not a lot, because then that would be very bad for health and safety. But the way he attacks, it's so offensive. He doesn't back off unless he really thinks he has to. And that is something you don't see in Formula 1 because it's an inherently conservative sport in a lot of ways. You don't want to push it too far just in case. That is kind of the memo, and I think Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes stuck by that and kind of got done in the final lap of the final race of the season. Because if they're done what Red Bull had done, if they had made the same stop strategy in the final few laps, they would have won the race. But because they didn't and they wanted to play it conservative, they lost. I'm not saying what was right and what was wrong. There was a lot of confusion as to what was happening in race control. Were cars allowed to overtake? Were cars not allowed to overtake? Not every car overtook, and then it became a bit of a shim-sham. But at the end of the day, it was going to be one of those two who won. Hamilton or Verstappen. Either one were the winners. But as I said in the intro, Verstappen winning is good for the sport. It broke Lewis's dominance, and I think next year is going to be an even more exciting season because you have McLaren coming up, Ferrari kind of getting their shit together, Mercedes and Red Bull, 4 good teams, 4 growing teams, and it could be the most exciting season in 10-15 years because the last time there was this type of rivalry was probably 2010-11 with Vettel and Alonso. That was the last time there was an inter-team fight. Other than that, it's been Nico Rosberg and Hamilton in 2016, but that was the same team. That had fireworks in and of itself, but it was controlled within the team. But for 10 years, we haven't seen something like this, and I don't think we'll see it for another 10 years. Going down to the last race of the season, equal on points, there's nothing in it. Whoever wins the race, whoever finishes higher, gets the win and is written down in the history books. And I think Max Verstappen just over the course of the season deserved it. Mercedes are now lodging complaints against FIA and race control. I don't care. It's what it is. Max won, full stop. You can maybe implement these changes for next season. You can say we want things changed, but you bring in a barrister into the FIA headquarters, that's just sore loser, my guy, all right? You may say that he didn't really stick to the rules, but what he said at the end there, Michael Massey, he said, this is motor racing, we need to go racing. And I think, for me, as a fan, and not someone who's a stickler for the rules, because rules are there to be broken, laws are there to be adhered. These are rules of a sport, of a game, all right? If someone makes if a referee makes an executive decision, he makes an executive decision. Put your balls in between your legs, Mercedes, and walk away. You won the constructors, you got the money. Just go. It's ridiculous that you brought a barrister into it. Straight away, 30 minutes in, not acknowledging the win. I will say Lewis Hamilton, he did what was necessary. Gave some daps to Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton's dad also congratulating him. It's a huge thing. It's a huge feat. And they understand that. But for Mercedes to be doing this, I think it's really, really disgusting and needless. So don't do it. It really looks bad. Christian Horner took the risk. He doubled down. He went all in and said, we're going to make this pit stop. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if for some reason the race restarts, we have a chance of winning. And I think that's the type of thinking you need to have, especially in a sport like this. Just in general in life, I think that's the case. But I think for this sport, you have to think like that, because Hamilton and Mercedes took a defensive approach to what they were doing, assuming that the safety car would be there until the end of the race. And it turned out it wasn't. Michael Masi changed his mind, which he is at liberty to do. There may be some internal restructuring of the rules now. On Lewis's side of things, though, you could say if he hadn't got COVID, and I know it's a lot of ifs and buts, and if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, but if Lewis hadn't got it, he hadn't got the coof, then I have to think he probably would have won. He probably would have won the championship, you know? Not just because of the long COVID that he had and the situational circumstances he found himself in with that, but the fact he did miss a race, I believe, and George Russell replaced him for one race. That really hampered his season when you think about it. But then in other situations, you can say if Max had pulled out of that corner against Hamilton and he'd actually just finished the race second as opposed to being DNF'd, then he probably would have been even further ahead come the final race. So we'll never know, but I do think there were so many twists and turns in this season that it can never be replicated again. And that's the great thing about it. The odds of them being on the same amount of points come the end of the season, 359, 358, whatever it was, are so infinitesimal. The fact it happened is beyond me. And I'm telling you, from a marketing point of view, this was unbelievable. Especially what Michael Masi decided to do. You can say he made the wrong decision. You can. But he said, I want people to race and I want the season not to end with a damn safety car. In him doing what he's done, he has caused a media firestorm with this whole situation. This is not finished. I hope it is, but it's not. And I can just imagine the headlines tomorrow, the next day, the next day. This is not a one-day news cycle. This is going to spur on for a couple of days, and the memes that are going to be made are going to be delicious. So, congratulations to Max Verstappen. I'll tell you, my heart was in my throat. Lewis, obviously, I want you to win under most circumstances, but this was a good thing, and I'm glad that Max ended up taking the win. Notable mentions for this season: Yuki Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon. Excited to see what they do next season. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, if you know Max Verstappen himself gonna come after you, drive right beside you in the regular roads. You don't want that. No, you really don't. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow if you don't make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 1,000 days now. We ain't stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content, because we're hashtag never know hashtag goes. Also bring the podcast means nonsense in Punjabi. We also bring that. Bring a lot, bring a little, do a lot, do a little, but we do indeed bring the quality shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more, see you then. Skadoosh.